Purdue as Mitchell looks for an answer.
Ooh, pure, nothing but net.
Garland to the basket, stole the inbound pass. He lays it in.
Basketball down there.
Very high percentage shot for him from that spot. Merrill for three. Tristan Thompson on the floor. Diaz, that's short. Hard rebound, ricochets out to Merrill for three again.
For the We Like Sports show, tune in and see the latest the crew has to say regarding the latest sports topics nationally and locally. Make sure to check out our website as well, WeLikeSportsPC.com. Subscribe on all platforms, including podcast platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and much more. And be sure to follow us on X at We Like Sports PC.
Started with Anderson and Ramirez.
He said, let's go, right? Yeah, I'm sure he wants the game to start, but they won't let it. And rightfully so.
And welcome to the We Like Sports show. I'm your host, Ed in Columbus, with my guys, Peyton, Vote Has My Vote, Vince, and Casey in Orlando. What's up, gentlemen?
What's going on? Go ahead, Peyton, vote.
Peyton Vote, Vince.
Yeah, that's right.
So far, so good, right?
I think so. You tell me. I don't know. You're up in Cleveland. I see there's a big storm brewing tomorrow, so that's some hail, man. I don't know.
Well, you know, it only makes sense because tis the season. The home opener is next week. It just makes sense that it's going to end up storming, and it's going to end up probably raining on Eclipse Day in Cleveland as well. Breaking news.
Jesus Christ. Negative Nancy Vince. Strikes again.
Truthful Vince, unfortunately.
Jesus Christ. Time to leave. All your negativity's wearing off on me.
Well, like they always say, the best people in Cleveland usually do leave Cleveland.
That's why
Peyton's there forever. Huh?
But we have a jam.
Get him out of here.
Right. Yeah, get him out of here. We have a jam-packed show today. We're going to do the great debate. We're going to hit some break-ed news. We got Guardians baseball to talk about, all baseball in general. We got the brackets. Yeah, Casey, I wanted to touch on that first, so we'll get into it first. Cleveland Guardians went out to Oakland. Took 3 of 4 from the Oakland Athletics. Some would say that's a minor league baseball team, but I say to this, they count as major league victories, and the Cleveland Guardians got 3 of them. What are your thoughts, Casey, initially on what you see with our new manager, Stephen Vogt, and the team in general?
Well, I think that the Lake County Captains opening day is probably going to have more people at it than the Oakland A's opening day. But that's just my view. But when it comes to the Guardians, I think that we're so used to having Francona, right? You know, with the decisions he makes. Just going back to the most recent game, most recent memory. Do you think Francona would have called a suicide squeeze with Arias at bat? I don't think. He probably would have pinch hit. If he did, put Freeman in, put somebody else in that could bunt, because Arias, as you could see, didn't know what he was doing out there with that bunt, and then Naylor getting picked off. That was tough. But what I think we forget is, we're so accustomed to having Francona, right? We did question things he did, but Vogt's 4th game of his career, right? So I don't know if he's going to have Arias bunting in that situation again down the road. But I think there'll be some games where we do maybe lose, like because of the, what's the learning curve, right? You know what I mean? So
inexperience.
I want to push back at that, because I feel like Francona, for being such a great manager, some of the things I think is he got,
so Guardians X/Indians Twitter, right? They were pretty hard towards the end of Francona with some decisions he's making with the small ball, right? So I agree with that. I understand it because we didn't have the power. So with Francona calling what he was calling, I get the reasoning, because, it was kind of running with me, you, and Peyton at the bottom of the order for a little bit of time. So
I think,
and your boy Miles Straw,
Cam Gallagher, sorry ass. I mean,
to I guess what I'm trying to say is that Stephen Vogt, doing the right thing. I always say this, even with my kids sometimes, doing the right thing in that situation would be kind of doing what he did. Now, getting
If
the
it
players
worked, we would have done right.
yeah,
If
getting the players to execute that is one of the things. And I always feel this about baseball. The fundamentals in baseball, it's like, it's been pretty much gone for the last decade. It's hit a home run or strike out. And what's wrong with, maybe it didn't work this time, but maybe later on down the road, we'll be in that position and we'll execute that. But you're not going to be able to do that unless you practice it, unless you are in game situations. And,
the amount of MLB players that can't bunt. They can't bunt. That's crazy. It's crazy to think about. It's equivalent in almost every sport, right? You've got in baseball, if you're an MLB player, you feel to bunt the ball, right? In my opinion, no matter how big,
back
small.
in high school for us all the time.
What kind of player? You shouldn't do this. Like I don't know. That's what he was doing. He was trying to chase it. Let the ball come back and play it in. Right.
Soft hands.
Soft hands. It's that and like basketball, right? Dudes that can't make free throws. Right. I don't care how you like Shaq could not make free throws, right? It's crazy that you're that talented, but you can't make a free throw, right? It's things that every sport kind of has something that's like,
right.
As a casual fan, right? I cannot believe this professional is getting paid this much money. Cannot do this. With the shift for me, when we had the shift so extreme the last couple of years, it's like you're telling me these dudes just can't lay a bunt down third base, drag bunt to third base. I don't get that. It's insane.
For instance, you ended up having Gabriel Arias miss the bunt, and then 2 batters later, Stephen Kwan ended up seeing J.D. Davis playing way back at third base, and he had it was literally a bunt down the third base line, and he was safe. Yeah. He's somebody that's batting leadoff, and he knows how to bunt, but that's the guy you should have ended up having bunt. And with this situation too, there's no outs, 1 out with Bo Naylor at third.
As I say, with Naylor getting picked off, or getting thrown out at third, I do think connects to the coaching. We have so many young guys. Like, do you think Jose Ramirez would have got caught getting thrown at third base? Stephen Kwan, even not really. But Naylor's young, Arias is young, so I think that we're gonna a young team with a first year coach. I think we're gonna have.
I like putting
like
young
that.
players in situations where they got to perform. How else are they going to learn? It's called growing pains.
No, I agree with you. That's why, like I said, I saw it and I was like, God damn it! Like I wasn't happy, but I understand. We should have won that game because of how many mistakes the A's tried to give it to us. It's like the A's don't want to win. Like watching that.
Well, ask ownership. They probably don't. They want to just go to Vegas.
Exactly. It's insane. It's just insane. And for something that disappointed me in this series, right? Because I watched probably 3.5 of the games, right? Was Laureano didn't look too great in center. That's the ballpark he played his whole career in, and he didn't do much. I mean, this last game he got some hits, right? Only first time was really hitting the ball. But the first few games he played, he didn't impress me. And then I don't know if you saw, I'm not sure if you guys did see, Nolan Jones has 4 errors already in the outfield and gave up an inside the park home run to the Cubs on a ball that went through his legs in left field. Wow. So, but on the flip side, Will Benson has been crushing the ball. So
I did see that. I saw he had a 2-run shot.
Yeah, and his exit velocity is so high on almost all of his hits this year. So that's the worrisome thing. But Nolan Jones at 4 errors in left field and 4. How do you do that? In 3 games, I think he played 4 errors in 3 games. How do you do that as a left fielder?
Consistency, Casey. That's called consistency.
It's crazy to me, but I think we're in good shape. We'll see this series coming up, right? Because I texted you guys is it the Guardians looking good or is the A's looking like the A's? Right. And I don't think Carrasco's thankfully of Gavin Williams, but I think Carrasco will be fine. I think he gave her 3 runs, which it's not ideal, but he's a fifth starter.
I mean, what do you want?
Yeah. What do you guys think about the rotation they're running with when they're kind of staggering out all the studs in the front?
I think right now with McKenzie being at the back end, I think that's just because of a case of his just seeing how far and how not too much pressure early on in the rotation that he's going to end up facing his second starter against the second starter. Like he's facing Seattle's 5th guy tonight, and then Bieber.
And this is his major league start. First start he's making.
Yeah, it was a double-A, I think.
Yeah, for the Mariners.
So it just makes sense that it's not that much pressure. He has to end up figuring out. I mean, he made 4 starts last year, and he ended up having a good amount of strikeouts. McKenzie did, but he ended up having 5 walks.
Yeah, I was going to say
9 strikeouts, and he has 5 innings pitched.
I feel like there's been an increase in walks for the games I've even watched. Like the first 4 games, like the Guardians and the A's walked. I feel like more than usual to me.
I think outside of Bieber, I'd agree with you on that, honestly. Like, Bieber ended up just handling everything really well. And I think that's something that you're going to see the rotation.
Hedges.
He might not finish the season with the Guardians if he's going to be this successful. And that's the unfortunate truth. Because
I don't know, man. I think we need him. If we're going to do something, we need Bieber at what he's at. That's why I think if we're first or second.
Yes, team success. Yes, team success.
So, because if Bieber keeps playing the way he is, like, we need a guy like Bieber, if we make the playoffs, right? Because I love Gavin Williams. Logan Allen looked good. Bobby, didn't look great, but again, first start of the year. McKenzie could be what he was. We're fucking tough. But if we had Bieber as the head of that, like, that monster we'd have, I think it would be, a key. But like I said, if we're middle of the pack, I think we trade him.
What you guys?
He could have a great year up to the halfway point. We could still be third place, right? And he just is strong. So in that scenario, I think we trade him. If he sucks, like goes back downhill, I don't know. But I think having Hedges back helps Bieber. Personally.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, key piece to this team this year is going to be closer. What do you guys think about Clase, his first go around?
I mean,
every Guardian's closer.
I know.
It's a sample size right now. We haven't really seen him that much or enough.
But it wasn't 1, 2, 3. It wasn't.
Hammy made a good point. He said you point out that he led leagues in blown saves or close to the top blown saves, but he also led the American League in saves.
Yep.
Right, so there were so many one run games. I think we might have led the league probably in run games. So I think it's, if we get rid of him, I think we're set. That Barlow didn't look that great, right? Both games I saw. So
somebody on Twitter ended up saying, or X, that Hunter Gaddis, I think it was after Saturday's game or on Sunday's game. Hunter Gaddis, for one, let's talk about him really quick.
And Cade Smith.
Cade Smith ended up making that was his debut, and it wasn't even expected that he'd be on the 26-man roster, and he showed up and showed out. But Gaddis, I mean, he loses the specs. He looks like he's the greatest pitcher. He looks like he's getting the Carrasco treatment out of the pen when Carrasco was first in the pen in his first stint, which is amazing. I mean, his velocity, I think Gaddis was touching – 97, and he ended up striking out one of the A's hitters yesterday with a 90-mile-per-hour slider. And they said on X, there's a good chance that Gaddis could finish the year as the setup man for righties. And remember, Karinchak used to be there. He's a non-factor.
I loved Karinchak too.
And you have Barlow. Barlow didn't look good. I think it was Friday night. On Sunday, he looked pretty good. His curveball was there. He ended up having a nice just sweeped across for whatever in the 8th inning. I mean, there's not too many complaints out of the bullpen as we've seen it go on. But, like, Barlow is kind of, you've seen one bad version of him. You've seen one good version of him. With Clase, you ended up seeing just one version so far. Eli Morgan, he's pitched every single game for the Guardians. And the one bad thing is he was in a situation that you ended up having – 4 pitches. I
don't blame him. Like, everyone's blaming Eli Morgan for losing that game. Yesterday, I think Barlow was left in too long because the bases were loaded when he came in. It wasn't like he fucking walked the bases loaded. I get he
inherited runners.
Yeah, inherited a bases loaded jam with no outs. Like, I get he walked on. I'd rather have had a hit, to lose the game than a walk in. But I mean, it's just the way it is. But after with top of the 9th. And we fucking blew it right there, or top of the 8th, whatever he had. I said, all those guys on, all those errors, and we couldn't score. We didn't deserve to win the game anymore. At that point to me, after I saw that, I said, we don't deserve to win this game. But I think that Gaddis, hopefully he's tough, because the weakness this year is the bullpen. And I know I've talked about it. We've all agreed, I think, last year talking about the bullpen. Guardians and Indians history, recently, our strength was the bullpen. The end of we get to the 7th inning, we're set, right? 7th, 8th, and 9th is good. So if we could have that, I think that'd be great. Like you said, having Gaddis being strong, if you have Cade Smith doing what he's doing, and Vogt's got a lot of confidence in Eli Morgan right now. We're playing him all, as much as he is, but I just think it's more hope than I thought I'd have after the opening weekend, right? Personally,
I would agree with that.
If you told me I have 27 runs in this series, I think you'd be like, "There's no way."
I'm like, "They're done for the month. They're done for the month."
Saying, man.
No doubt. Like, that was the biggest shock is that they ended up. I mean, yeah, it's the A's, But 27 runs, I mean, they had 12 runs on Friday night, I think it was.
Good teams beat bad teams.
Right.
So
yeah, like this, and like we've been saying,
Cavs.
don't end up
We'll get there, Casey.
beating the dead horse on the fact that it is the A's. We'll see for sure tonight when it starts against Seattle. We'll see how it goes. If they could compete well with Seattle, if they take 2 of 3, if they end up taking even 1. Seattle's always tough. They have Julio Rodriguez. They have good pitching. They have a younger team. They have the Twins at the end of the week. This is going to be not the telltale sign, but this is going to be the sign that you end up having an idea of how legit the Guardians are. But, I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about right now at the Guardians, too. Like, you end up having the bullpen was the biggest conversation we just had. What about the aggression from just overall from the Guardians? And before we end up diving into that, I want to mention that my boss from the radio station, 1450/93.5 WLEC, he ended up having the bold prediction that the Guardians, by the time the trade deadline comes around, they're going to be buyers. And if that's the case and they get a big bet and they're buyers and they're going to end up having that uphill, it's
Who's a big bat? Jay Bruce? Like,
or Josh Donaldson? Yeah, somebody better than that. We're going to end up paying somebody. But going back to the aggression, let's just talk about how aggressive they've been on the pass. Like, Tyler Freeman on opening night out of the box was thinking double. He was not thinking single around the base. He had it in his head as soon as he made contact. For a guy that just got mainly his playing time last year, out of the box, his helmet fell off. Who cares? But there's no Jose Ramirez counter. We're not Zach Meisel counting the Tyler Freeman counter here. But out of the box, Freeman was thinking double. He was safe. They ended up changing it out. Double, drove in a run, another double. Florial against Oakland yesterday was aggressive. He had a triple. They had to review it, but he was in there. You did not see that with Francona. Francona was very conservative when it came to his baseball with his managing style. Florial's somebody that with Cody Morris, you traded away to get Esteban Florial. Florial ended up showing up and showing that he has speed on the bases. He ended up showing that even a rounding second, he was aggressive enough that, you know, I'm going to third. I'm going to end up making the opportunity to make it happen. And that was the first run that the Guardians scored in the 8th inning, the 7th inning. And that turned the tide. And look at what happened against Oakland, which could happen to any team, not just Oakland. But when you end up putting that pressure on a team, any team could boot a ball. I mean, obviously, Geloff.
That's Phil Buckner.
Yeah. And Geloff looked like again, the A's looked like at times a minor league team. And I hate to say it, but it just looked like, well, they were very easy to be in their heads. Like I think Matt Underwood and Rick Manning even mentioned during the TV broadcast that they looked deflated in the field as soon as it was a booted ball. It hit a rock. It was this, it was that. Anything that was problematic that could happen, happened. And that's exactly what you need. And if this happens against Seattle, this is the sign of what Vogt and what the Guardians are bringing to the 2024 year. And it's something to look forward to.
I agree with that. I think to your point, Peyton, you got a young manager, first career job in the Major League Baseball. He's got to bring his attitude. And I think, early on, he's setting the tone with this Guardians team saying, we are going to be aggressive on the base pass because, you're seeing this offensive output of these 12 runs and, they scored 27 runs or whatever. And, they have to start doing that by being aggressive because when you're aggressive on the base pass, now the next hit that you get, now it scores a run. And under Francona, I felt like it was just base to base to base. And it was just like, I always made that joke. It takes 5 hits to score a run. You know what I'm saying? Which is mathematically impossible if you look at there's only 3 bases. But I always felt like with the Guardians, it was like pulling teeth for them to score. If you're aggressive on the base path, you get that extra base out of the batter's box because you're going for second, you're going for third, like you were talking about. Then, it's not so hard to then score runs. And then it opens the floodgates when you do get 2 or 3 hits in a row. Then it's like you're putting up 3, 4 spots, you're putting up crooked numbers. And, I love that Stephen Vogt coming in here and, kind of putting his imprint on this team because, look, there's going to be some up and down times. It's a long Major League Baseball season, but one thing they can do is play aggressive throughout. And there's going to be times where they play aggressive and it's going to cost them, and they're going to get caught in a rundown. They're going to get caught thrown out of the side. Who cares? I can live with that. I would rather this team go down trying than just, like I said, base to base to base, boring baseball. Because, like I said, until we get those mashers or maybe that extra bat, hopefully your compadre over at the radio station is
Sources.
right, and we do get a bat at the trade deadline, that would really help. But until then, we don't have Aaron Judge, so we're going to have to be aggressive. We're going to have to get extra base hits. Not going to be necessarily home runs, but that's going to set the table and the tone for 2024, and it's up to a nice start.
Something else, Ed? I think that I brought this up a couple days ago to somebody. I said that it sets a tone, like you said, for the season. Sure, well, you both realize, well, not only you, but recently you'll see Jose Ramirez. We get to the midpoint of the year, he's getting out of his groove because the rest of the team kind of sucks, and he has to carry us.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we get to like that towards that end, and then he's gassed, right? Because it happened last year. It happens frequently. Where like we might start slow, and then he has to kind of give it all, and then is dead at the end of the year. So the benefit, I think, right now is he doesn't have to carry the team at the moment. So far, I get 4 games in. I don't want to overreact, but if it keeps the way it is, I think that's going to be beneficial for us in the long run, because he's not then instead of trying to hit for doubles, just hit anywhere, right?
Right.
Hitting for power in the middle of the season because he has to, because no one else is scoring because of this fact. It's a 1-1 game in the 9th. Right, or a 2-1 game in the 8th, right? So I think that just having him play relaxed more than kind of pressed, I think would help as well. Because if you see Quan, Naylor, and Ramirez struggle a little bit to start, let's just say, and the bottom doing with their thing, that's promising to me, because I know those 3 guys will step it up soon. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be doing something. And Quan hitting a fucking 425 shot, that's impressive to me. Hitting 425 feet for him is. I got the jersey today, man.
Well, I was saying about my bold prediction about how he's going to hit home runs, and like I said, I don't know. I said 12 to 15. That's probably a little bit too high, but hey, if it happens, it happens. And he puts good contact on the ball, and like I said, I mean, it's only a matter of time before he has a breakout and he starts, getting those home runs. So we'll see what happens. I like how you're rocking the Quan. I love your Guardians hat, by the way. Tell everybody where they can get that at. Come down to Orlando, right? Just come to Orlando.
No, I got this at the Dick's Warehouse in Cleveland. So
wow.
Crazy story. So I got this there for $10. And then I went somewhere to I forgot where I was looking at. Like a Dick's. I was at Dick's. Next day, same hat, $35. Like a normal Dick's. So I went to the Dick's Warehouse, same hat, $10. So good deal.
That is a good deal.
And I got that same hat as you got on too, Ed. I got that same one.
Oh, did you? Okay, all right, no Brownie help. We'll talk about some stadium issues with the Browns later on when we go into that, when we hit that. But,
Crazy Horse, sponsored by Crazy Horse. Crazy Horse Stadium. It's going to be called in Brook Park, man.
Anything else before Major League Baseball before we go on to other things? Because, like I said, jam-packed show here. But yes,
Chris Bryant sucks. But
what's that?
Chris Bryant doesn't have a hit yet this year.
Okay.
So
big
he's
money,
like 0 for 15. Yeah, on the Rockies. So struck out twice today because that game was on earlier. But
a couple of things too. When we have the great debate, we're doing something different. I want to end up all together. We have some people viewing right now on X, on YouTube. We're gonna do something different. We're gonna end up having, if it's tied near the end for the great debate, we're gonna have the viewers judge today. So,
power to the people. Power to the people.
Comment in the comments below.
We the people
is going to end up being the winner. And in addition, the last couple of days on our X page at Like Sportz PC, whoever the starting pitcher has been for the Guardians since Tanner Bybee has been there, Carrasco yesterday, we're going to do it again with Tristan McKenzie. If you can correctly guess during today's sports show, we're going to do it this way instead of tweeting it out. If you could correctly guess but the number of
how many strikeouts
McKenzie has, we're going to end up giving you a Like Sportz t-shirt that we just ended up coming out with, the new edition. I'm going to end up sharing it right here, and you're going to end up having it. But make sure that with whatever you comment, make sure to comment your Twitter or your name so I could end up contacting you so we could end up shipping out this t-shirt. But this is what we're looking at right here. The Like Sportz Show shirt right here. We're going to end up giving it away if you could correctly guess the number of strikeouts Tristan McKenzie has. A lot of people.
Let's see all 3 colors here. Click on all 3 colors. So where's all the versions?
All the options.
Let's see.
Navy.
I like the navy. You
got light heather gray, white, and then the basic black. I think the black looks the best.
And you'll get an Ed in Columbus autograph.
Yeah, I like the navy. It's Guardians colors, I like that a lot.
And we're just gonna do.
So I
t-shirts
need my
for
girlfriend to tweet for me then, so I could
Oh,
I could get into this.
do you want me to just send her my autograph, Casey? Is that what you want?
That's why I added that in on the
Fair
straw
enough.
jersey. I'll put it on the straw jersey autograph on it.
Oh, maybe that signed straw jersey that you had that you thought was a signed straw
Yeah.
jersey is just the Ed in Columbus.
Ed in
Yeah,
Columbus.
right. I'm pretty good. Yeah. I've been
Well,
known
Tristan
to,
McKenzie's over under 6.5 strikeouts at plus 135. If you're curious,
Oh, okay.
that's what it's set at.
Mm.
And keep in mind, I believe the Guardians they said that their pitch limit's going to be 90 pitches for their starters this first start. So
5
keep
innings.
in mind that as well. Yeah, keep that in mind too. So
5 to 6 innings, roughly. Hopefully, maybe he could stretch it out to 7. We'll see how dominant he actually is. But I think my bet, and I'm not going to be a part of this, but if I could end up guessing, I might end up putting together a parlay. I did win something on opening day. I haven't had too much success so far, but I'd say Tristan McKenzie. I'd push it with 7. I'd be confident with 6.
Okay.
just keep in mind, Jorge Polanco is on the Mariners, and I believe Jorge Polanco was a Guardian/Indians killer when he was on the Twins. To my knowledge, I feel like he had a lot of bombs against us. So Jorge Polanco is on the Mariners now. I did not know that.
Did you
before
just
today.
call that man a whore?
Hey,
He was. I said it many times when he was hitting home runs against us. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure
Hey.
that was the case.
Okay.
a Jorge.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
Jorge
like I said,
in Columbus.
depends what he's doing against my Guardians is going to be how I address that man. Okay, that's
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
But you know what? I think it's time to pay some bills here because that's what we do.
Perfect.
here.
I got a good bet today too. So if we get to the black
Okay,
book, I got a lock tonight.
But first, before we get to your bets, we got to talk about Dubby. That's right. If you want an energy drink that you can mix at home that doesn't give you the jitters or make you crash, if so, then try Dubby. Their products have no calories, no sugar, no maltodextrin, no fillers, and no artificial colors. Dubby has great flavors such as Dragonade, Galaxy Grenade, Beach and Peach, and Dub Sludge. So head on over to Dubby.gg and use the coupon code WeLikeSports to get 10% off your order. So you'll want to do that. And also what you'll want to do is check out the Snooze You Lose podcast with Uncle Joe, the Black Bookie. He'll get you set with his Sunday Snooze You Lose pick of the week. So who doesn't want to add more coin to their man purse while they're making sports bets and getting all that cash, So you want to check out Uncle Joe, the Black Bookie. He's been hot lately, hot in 2024, and he'll be hot for you if you take his advice. You want to do that. And also, too, speaking of getting money, you want to check out my bookie because you want to experience the thrill of March Madness. If you're still on the hunt for a sports book to call home, bet the nonstop action of March Madness with my bookie. Enter bracket contest for a chance to take home prizes of up to $25,000 or pick from a huge selection of straight bets, props, and odd boosts. Whatever your style, my bookie makes it easy to play your way and get paid. Sign up now and take advantage of our generous welcome offer to score a massive first deposit bonus of up to $1,000. All you have to claim is to get your claim, I should say, use promo code sports with a Z. That's sports with a Z. But the fun doesn't stop here. Get your up-to-the-minute odds, free bets, and expert predictions to help you decide who you put your money on. So the best part about my bookie, you can bet on anything, anytime, from anywhere. So use promo code sports with a Z to secure your limited time welcome bonus today. You want to do that. So speaking of that, March Madness. Say what?
Speaking of snooze you lose too, I just checked out what he ended up saying for yesterday. He had the Knicks money line. He just came up short. The Knicks lost 113 to 1.
Yeah, on a 2 second left in the game, Gildas Alexander hit a fadeaway in the corner to win.
He was this close to end up having that success rate boosted up some more. But, that's betting for you. Shit happens at the end of the day.
All I'm telling you, Peyton, if you want to get some more coin in your man purse, Zion Williamson, over 5.5 assists is a lock, Peyton. I'm going to give you that one. Brandon Ingram's out tonight. And without Brandon Ingram this season, assist-wise for Zion, he's had 7, 9, and 8. So last game was last month looks like, he almost had triple-double. So if you want to feel froggy and throw $1 or $2 on Zion triple-double, that's possible. And Jose Alvarado is out. So Point Zion's going to be playing today. And if you want to parlay this, CJ McCollum as well, because he also does good with assists because who handles the ball when they're out? Both of them. So I'm going over to the basketball court, but those are my locks for the day. Is
So
McCollum.
Zion triple-double, CJ
That's
McCollum.
the Zion triple wasn't a lock, but it's a chance. Like a better chance than normal. But I'm telling you, Zion over 5.5 assists. You can put that money in your pocket right now, Peyton. You put it right in your pocket right now.
I'll gladly put $1 on it, and we'll see what happens.
I'm telling you, man. You could, if you feel froggy, you can put over 9 assists, 10 assists. I'm telling you, I think that he's gonna promise. I'm not lying to you.
Well,
if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right?
But like it should be a W supplement.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
If you're listening.
Well, I wanted to get Peyton. Maybe if you want to share screens or do your magic here, but I wanted to talk about the.
Are you going to put that breaking news I sent you to? Are you going to open that up on the?
No, I'm not. I did open that. Casey, you are a disgusting gentleman, by the way.
You know, I ended up sharing that with a couple people too.
Yes, I didn't find it. Someone sent it. Jared sent it to me.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
And some people didn't believe me either, and I'm like, man, it's legit.
Just click on it, man.
Yeah, I'm not.
That was Ed's pregame. He saw that right when the show started.
He ended up having that written down in his script, and that's what he ended up saying, right? Like a minute before showtime. He's like, "Damn you, Casey."
Yeah,
that's pretty good news.
Well, I was opening up my We Like Sportz ESPN tournament challenge, which I wanted to update the brackets.
I don't count. I didn't get it done in time. I only got to the Sweet 16. I was just guessing. So
yeah, I have dropped to 7th place thanks to Perdone beating Tennessee yesterday. So I am now in 7th place, and that's irking me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought you were a big Zach Edey fan, man. I heard you said boner on TV. I thought you liked
it. What is up with Zach Edey? He's feeling it. He's going out
up with the freshmen at the dorms too. I saw the video.
I saw that.
Yeah, ladies, man.
Well, I mean,
7-4.
Scoring on and off the court, I see.
Hey, Peyton told me that Ed's packing like he's 7-4. So I mean,
hey,
hey now.
Hey, the peanut butter, man.
I have a joke, but I'm going to keep it PG today.
I'm
You're going to keep it PP.
Yeah.
Yeah. ED with PP.
Yeah. So do we know who's in first place? Do we know who that person is?
ESPN fan? Dude, ESPN fan with a bunch of numbers. I'll have to end up asking some people I work with because the same thing with this Houston guy too.
Yeah.
I know John right here at Purdue. I know him. I know KJ. I know my buddy Mike. I don't watch basketball because he ended up also posting it on Facebook saying that he's 5th in a pool and he never watches basketball. A lot of the Purdue people are still having a rough.
It's the Purdue and the Connecticut people, it looks like.
I was down here, good old Rocky Top.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm last because I didn't even get to fucking choose. So as you see, I have 0 because I didn't even get to do it. So
KC 24947s.
Yeah.
Whoever this guy is, though, bracketology buffoons.
Look who I picked to win. I picked the basketball to win, so I'm going to win, I think. I think I'm good.
The ultimate underdog.
Yeah.
I picked CSU, I think.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
BHFD is my brother. I know that much. My brother, Nick.
Shout out.
12th place. He has a chance. And actually in the family bracketology, his son that is, I believe, 2 years old, might be 3. He's winning in the family bracket too. So it just shows you March Madness, anything could happen.
Yeah. It's madness. They don't lie.
You just give a team and he'll pick it. And I mean, that might be the future. What was that one guy's name? Stump the Schwab or whatever.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
It was a good show. Yeah,
it doesn't beat the We Like Sportz show though.
No, it's not even close.
No, because Ed's on Stump the Ed. We could.
No, I actually watched.
Shit, no, dude, it's like Stump the Keith with some of that brown shit that he knows.
I watched that with my wife one night, and they're like 3 or 4 episodes in a row, and I swear I only missed like 2 questions, and my wife's looking at me. She's like, "Why aren't you on here?" I'm like,
shit doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
What about the show with those 2 twins? Remember they had a show on like ESPN Classic or something? Yeah. Well, I forgot who they were or what that was called, but that was one of the shows back in the day on ESPN with those 2 guys.
Now I just have to do boring old Jeopardy and just
Yeah. What about the Beast? That show with the chase with the Beast that dude's this smart. Some of those guys are so I can't believe how smart they are. It's crazy to me.
They call me Ed Jennings in Columbus.
Yeah. Twins.
Yeah. But we got
brains.
It's getting close to that time, but before we get to the hottest segment in all the sports shows and the great debate, we got to do one thing here that I love, and I'm not going to lie because it has my name in it. This is Ed in Columbus with your We Like Sports breaking news. The Cleveland Browns will lead the league in players making over $10 million in 2024. And to counter that, Cleveland Browns fans will lead the league in making excuses in 2024.
Ooh.
The Alabama Crimson Tide are going to the Final Four. And when asked how Bama can win it all, most Tide fans replied, Blitz, Bama, Blitz. And finally, today will be my last breaking news, as I want to focus on journalism, real journalism, and becoming a trusted source in news. April Fools, bitches! And this is Ed in Columbus with you. We like sports breaking news.
You almost got me.
I did. I knew from the start.
Yeah, I'm not giving that up. That isn't happening. That is not happening. But what is happening is the greatest new segment in all of sports entertainment.
In 2024 and beyond, don't forget to tune in to
So we're gonna have the great debate. Oh yeah,
the We Like Sports Show presents to you the Great Debate.
that's
All
right.
right.
It's time for the great debate. And since we have Casey and Peyton, who I love when they go at each other because they're just like two siblings going at it, and there's some inside jokes and some snarkiness that only they understand. But
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Peyton Vince, and I am going to tag in Ed in Columbus in honor of WrestleMania weekend. For this very first round, it's going to be Ed versus Casey for the first round. And I'm going to be tagged back in to face Casey.
Right. Handicap match here.
End up advertising, since it is WrestleMania weekend, The Rock and Roman Reigns against Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Just makes sense to end up adding in a little bit of tag action.
Hey now.
So,
You're double teamed over here.
hey now. So, my great debate question is, before we get started, I came up with this. I needed to end up having this happen. Let me make sure I have both pulled up, because the great debate question does end up having videos.
Oh, it's like Jeopardy, man. The video part of it. Daily double here. What do we got?
Yeah.
It's the great debate double, That's why we ended up tagging them in. But I got an ad. Hold on. But anyways, very first one will be the best entrance for a closer. We're going to end up having, I'm going to show both clips. One has to go with both.
It's not Cody Allen and with the Outsiders song. That was mine.
No, it's not that. It's not Chris Perez and I think it was Prodigy or whatever. It's not Emmanuel Clase and the Fireman. It's not Mariano Rivera and Enter Sandman. It's
Peyton Vince on the softball field.
Yeah, and me ended up coming out with whatever closing song. It might be this song or it might be the other one, but you guys have to end up picking one, and I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. That's going to be who goes first. So let's figure out who goes first. Casey, you pick a number.
We're going to go 5 or 6. We'll 6.
Ed, pick a number.
1.
Casey gets it. He's going to end up going first because it was 7.
So go first, take the number.
Yeah, what a win.
All right.
So we're going to end up having this one.
Oh, is this
Still
mine?
muted.
I get to choose this one?
How's the hole, Daddy? Look a little tired. I'm throwing every piece of junk I can think of at him, Skipper. I got enough left for one more hitter.
Nah, you pitched a hell of a game, man. Take a seat. We'll see if we can get this guy out for you.
All right.
Good game, Eddie.
Give me Vaughn.
You want Vaughn?
I know he hadn't done very well against this guy, but I got a hunch he's due.
Good job.
hate this fucking song.
As much as I want to share the whole clip, I can't end up doing it, but we know what the quote is.
I want to watch the movie, Peyton. What are you talking about?
So do I get the
Monday? You have to watch the movie then because that is opening day tradition.
Do I get to choose to watch one I want, or do I get to go with that one? I don't even get to
You
see
get
the
to
second
choose
one.
which one you want. And the other video,
right.
which is, I think, another top tier one. It's kind of a curveball for a non-Cleveland fan, so this might be a little difficult, but both are valid.
I knew that was.
You gotta love it. Both solid entrances for baseball. I'm excited. It's the regular season time. Casey, you go first. Who are you going to go with?
Gonna change my hat for this one. I'm going with the first one.
All right, you're gonna go Ricky Vaughn and Wild Thing.
Oh yeah, of course. All right, so what do you want me to start?
You can start right now, minute 30.
All right, so all I'm gonna say is I'm gonna paint you to a picture. 2016, Game 7. First pitch was at 7 o'clock, maybe, let's just say. Downtown Cleveland. Progressive Field. Series is 3-3. Cleveland Indians versus the Chicago Cubs. It is now 7:05. Game starts in 5 minutes. Who do you hear? What song do you hear in the stadium? I hear Wild Thing. Who comes out to throw the first pitch from the bullpen? Ricky Vaughn. Dressed in the Wild Thing attire with the glasses. Gets in there, crowd goes crazy, throws the pitch, crowd goes crazy. Game starts. I'm sure that energy carries over. I don't know if you remember from back then. That was a rumor. People were trying to get Charlie Sheen to come and do that. Could you imagine in real life being there and seeing that entrance and how I don't think trumpets would compare to that happening. Like Timmy Trumpets compared to that, what would happen in Cleveland Guardians / Indians Stadium with that happening. So again, I don't think it's ever going to happen. Make it again in the World Series. I'd love to see that because I think it's just the energy that you would need to go into that Game 7, right? And the players would feel it and everything. So I just think that entrances alone, I think if you put that in any stadium with that situation, if Karinchak was good, if he was like Clase with that 99, a maniac, and he swapped, and you have him come out every game with that, I think that would be, you know what I mean? Like goosebumps every time you hear it. So that's my view of the situation there.
And there is still hope for that to happen at some point. Karinchak is young, but
and he's wild. So
Ed,
almost tight ass pants that Ed wears, but
well, they're going to be even tighter now, and they're going to be see through too.
That's what I'm saying. His sack will be hanging out in those pants.
Well, I want to
Ed, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, set and go.
I want to thank my opponent, Casey. I want to thank the moderator as for this question, Peyton. I want to thank everybody for listening. The great debate, hottest segment in all of sports. I'm going to be a part of it. But speaking of what is a greater entrance song for walkout tour closer, Edwin Diaz, one of the best closers in all of baseball. Think about this. Think about this, gentlemen. Ed Win. It's like me. It's like it's my name, Ed Win.
You trying to convince us for you to lose or what?
Ed Win. No, I am not. What I want to say
I'd
is
lose?
that Narco by Blaster Jackson, Timmy Trumpet, is a hit among the Latinos out there, and they love El Baseball, and we love them. We love our amigos and Baseball Global Game, and they are a big part of it, and huge part of it. And I want to say this to my opponent over there that brought up the 2016 World Series. Anytime you're going to bring up the 2016 World Series as an Indians fan, you're just bringing up disappointment, you bring up hurt, and you bring up pain. And to have
it's the what if that would have played, we would have won the game. We would have won the game.
Yeah, but the point is this: having a closer song and they're playing at the beginning and having them come out. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe they needed it at the end of the game when they couldn't, when they were surrendering 2 runs to the Cubs. So my point
but they
is,
were so far behind to start the game because they. My point is
yeah. My point is this: once again, Ed Win for the win. With that, and like I said, like you got trumpets, you got, like I said, you got all the Latinos out there. They're loving it. They're loving it. And let's be real, who runs baseball right now? Who runs baseball? Who's the best player on the Guardians? Who's the best player on the Guardians?
Jose.
Yeah, and let's be real. I mean, where does he come from? What part of the world does he come from? Okay,
Jose.
Look who's leading. Look who's leading the league in average right now. Bobby
all I gotta
Jr.
say, my last words before I end this. Ed Win.
Listen, Ed, this is tough because you ended up. I'm still a little bit bitter after last week. Keith picked you a couple times just because it's your flipping birthday, and I didn't give a shit. You know,
it seems like you're fostering some bias right now.
No, I'm not though, because here's the thing. Initially, when I ended up saying this question, I was talking about this with one of my buddies from work, and we were talking about this because this question was resonating for some time, ever since I think Edwin Diaz made his first appearance since 2022, which has been a long time coming. You haven't heard Timmy Trumpets, you haven't heard Narco in such a long time that if you are a Mets fan, amazing. But initially, I already had my answer, and Casey almost saved himself because I forgot that James Karinchak came out to Wild Thing when he did end up making his appearances. But unfortunately, right now, James Karinchak is not a member of the Cleveland Guardians. And Ed, I don't want to end up having you win because Casey ended up setting you up for success just by ended up giving Ed Win Diaz. You ended up, if you ended up stealing Ed Win Diaz, you would have ended up.
I couldn't agree. I would take Jason Kipnis's walk-up song over that.
Yeah, that
with the
Thief,
saxophone.
Okay by Thief or whatever. That was another.
Yeah, I would have taken that with the blow-up saxophones over the Timmy Trumpets one.
But my judgment here, and I guess because I'm gonna end up being tagged back in by Ed.
Oh yeah, this is bullshit. Where's Seth Rollins? If I'm Cody Rhodes,
put your hand up there, Peyton. I need to tag you in.
CJ.
Wrong way.
Come on, CJ.
But unfortunately, you already ended up making the mistake just by choosing Ricky Vaughn because I am a reality person, and that was a movie. As much as I
built you a reality. I built you a reality before Game 7. I'm telling you, that shit would have been electric.
But did it happen?
Electric.
But did it happen?
Electric. Did Edwin Diaz win a World Series? No. Did it matter? No. Did that suck? Yes. So.
Remember one thing, too. You said the magical slogan for the Indians back in the day, and how successful was that slogan? What if? What if? Remember how good they were when they ended up going by what if? Because it was bad. Manny Acta was the manager, I believe. Yes. What if Manny Acta wasn't the manager? What if 2010 to 2013 didn't happen? What if the Indians signed a free agent? What if it didn't snow on the home opener? What if James Karinchak was successful for the Guardians? What if
Edwin Diaz doesn't do shit still and he's not good after his injury?
Time will tell.
Then this song becomes nothing.
Reality. And Ed,
I could name 5 better. Cody Allen's entrance was better.
Sounds like somebody's bitter.
Andrew Miller's was better as an entrance. I just don't like
Casey,
Diaz.
you painted a reality. Okay, you went from movie land, and then you're like, okay, let's build reality. And then you build reality as a Cleveland fan where I don't want to relive that reality. We didn't win. So
it's the most success, Peyton. It's the most success that Cleveland Indians have ever had in Peyton Vince's life. So if he is not grateful that even made the World Series,
he wants more. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. We're moving on, Casey.
I'm telling you, Edwin. There's so many more songs that are the interactive. My thing is the interactive part of it, right? So the crowd, what are they gonna do when they're playing that? What's the crowd noise they're gonna make? Well, sing those the words. What are they gonna sing to? There's no words in that song.
I just want to reiterate.
They take out their trumpets and they go.
Yeah. What does that look like? What does that look like? Turn your head, and do that again and show. Yeah. What does that look like to you? That's why. There you go.
I'm very secure. I'm very secure in my sexuality. I'm not afraid of that, Casey.
So there you go. I'm just telling you. It's the fan aspect of it. When those songs come on, the louder the crowd gets, to me, that's what pumps up the adrenaline, right? So the trumpets, the crowd just do yelling. I'm telling you,
Casey. You can argue or you're not winning. It's over. It's over.
I'm telling you. I mean,
well, I'm tagging Peyton in, and we're moving on to our second.
I'm tagging Ed in. Then there you go.
Okay, fair enough. All right, here is the second question, and I thought about this long and hard. Yeah, well, there you go.
Because you saw that picture I sent him before the show started. Looks like.
Yeah. But tonight we have a big game in the NCAA tournament, and I'm not talking about the men. I'm talking about LSU and Iowa. And so this kind of resonates with that in mind. Is Caitlin Clark, if she does not win the NCAA championship, is she overrated? Who wants to take? Well, you know what, Casey, you've been.
I prefer to take the no answer, but
all right, fine. You want to take the no, but you got to go first. Then you want to pick the no, go first.
Yeah.
Then. All right.
Yeah, I don't think she's overrated.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead.
1, 2, 3. You ready? Go.
Yeah, good. I don't think Caitlin Clark's overrated. If you look at the situation, you know who I think is overrated? I'm going to be called what Ed is usually called when I say this.
Homer?
No. Your girl from LSU.
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese. Yeah, I think she's overrated. So if LSU loses, do you think that she's gonna be overrated now if LSU doesn't win? So it's a double-edged sword to me.
I think
Caitlin Clark. Yeah, it's a counter argument. I think that Caitlin Clark is not overrated. I think you'll see when she goes to the WNBA how many people have been offered. Females have been offered like $10 million, $5 million to play like fucking 10 games in the Big Three. None. Do I think she just sucked in the Big Three? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Because those dudes are like 6'8", 6'9", and you're bodying them, right? But I think Caitlin Clark's not overrated. I think even if she loses, I don't think one person can carry a team. I've said it before. I'm telling you. Look at the NBA. We have Donovan Mitchell as a star. Who else do we have? We've got good players, but we ain't doing shit. Jalen Brunson can't carry the team by himself. You look at the good teams. Jokic isn't carrying the teams by himself, right? Giannis isn't carrying the teams by himself. You got guys around him. Right? You look at Mitchell's off this team. We sucked, right? Recently, we've sucked without Mitchell. So I think that to me, I'm telling you, I don't think for basketball it's as much as a one-person game because we had the best player in the league for how many years? Again, you're going to vote against me because I'm bringing up sad times to you. But how many times? How many times did we lose to the Warriors because they had a full team and we had one guy? Right? We had fucking Kyle Korver.
I disagree with that. The Cavs teams had people.
The dude, Kyrie Irving. He was out the 1 year.
Yeah.
Kevin Love was out. My point is you take those guys off, you make it just a one-man team. They're not beating a full team, right? So if, let's just say, LSU is more of a team because I think they are due to Angel Reese, because I think like the team is all kind of similar to her with her personality and mentality, with the kind of shit that she does.
What I don't understand, Casey. What are you trying to say?
You watch the game. I mean, Caitlin Clark is also emotional, right? But I don't see the rest of the team really as emotional as her, right? And I think the coach at LSU as well kind of has
Kim Mulkey.
That's their identity. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying they have an identity, right? The whole team has that identity.
You like the
Warriors
Pistons. I'd say like the Pistons.
Yeah, Pistons. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so I just think the team, if she loses, I just think it's a team aspect in that because it's hard for one guy, unless it's the Toronto Raptors and LeBron James, it's hard for one guy to totally kill a team. So that's just my view. Yeah, LeBron though.
Okay, well,
go ahead.
That was an answer. It was an answer. I don't know if it's a good one.
I'm not going to win no matter what I would have said.
That's not true.
That's
two
against one.
You're playing victim. You're playing victim again.
Oh yeah. When the judge and the judge of the first one are the same team, I don't think that.
Well, because we're tagging each other in has nothing to do with this.
We didn't say next week is We Like Sports show rules, Casey. All right, we didn't say
That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like.
Well, Peyton, so you have the distinguished honor of saying that Caitlin Clark is overrated, which, hey, by the way, kind of think she is. But go ahead.
Yes, I'm saying. Just a minute.
Thanks for the secret, Ed, but I got this on my own. I'm like Roman Reigns right here. I'm the ones.
Okay.
But that makes you the final boss, so I just kind of screwed myself, I guess. Yeah. But anyways, don't talk about my mama like you did Mama Rhodes. Anyways,
I know Mama Vince real well, so I can talk about Mama Vince.
Get that belt out. Get that belt.
But Caitlin Clark, she is overrated because I think if they don't end up winning the NCAA tournament, championships matter. You need to end up having a championship to solidify your legacy. I mean, look at LeBron James. The biggest reason why he came back to Cleveland, Casey, was
does LeBron James have a NCAA championship?
He never went to college. You can't get anything that
because it doesn't matter. Because the NCAA champion doesn't matter. That's why.
But the biggest knock against him was that he didn't win in Cleveland the first time around. Right? He didn't have an NBA championship. He didn't have an NBA championship for a member of the Cavs until 2016. And that was the biggest knock against him. He won an NBA championship with Miami. He won with the Lakers. He won one with Cleveland. If anything, if you want to talk about overrated, LeBron James has gotten rid of that stigma because he's won the championship everywhere he's gone. If she can't do it at Iowa, Caitlin Clark, she isn't good enough to be considered one of the greats. That whole entire conversation of her possibly going to the NBA, to Big Three even, if you can't compete and win in college, I mean, they beat the Buckeyes, and that was their biggest threat for a while. And personally, I'm letting emotions aside, but I didn't like the fact her attitude, her emotions against Ohio State.
So what do you think of Angel Reese?
But LSU, I mean, all around, it's two demons facing each other right now, and I don't want either team to win. And UConn's still in it, so I mean, UConn's probably going to end up winning.
Juju Watkins at USC still in it.
There's so many good teams right now on both the men's and women's side of college basketball. But Caitlin Clark, she almost needs to solidify her legacy for college. You could have the points record. Records are great. Pete Rose has the all-time hits record, but he's not in the Hall of Fame because he gambled. There's also another couple of reasons too. And actually, let's look this up really quick because I'm curious.
Yeah, let's look this up. Let's look this up. How is the NBA championship compared to an NCAA championship?
Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame because you know why, Casey? He's won the World Series 3 times. And that's not even including the betting.
This isn't. You're talking college basketball. Look at the male equivalent, an NCAA male. How many men that are top players?
Peyton, you were winning up until you just kept talking.
Shabazz Napier fucking carried UConn. Who's Shabazz Napier?
The Pete Rose thing gets me.
It's politics, man. It's the great debate.
Fair enough. I love it. That's why the segment's great.
What else is new?
It goes anywhere. It takes you to places I never thought it could, and that's where we're going right now. Are you done? By the way, I don't want to cut you short here.
Pete Rose, man, he's legit. Caitlin Clark isn't. Bottom line, that's all I care about.
I like.
I think that
definitive statements matter. Definitive statements.
I think that I just, to me, like I said, I don't see how the NCAA women's tournament's equivalent to and Kevin Durant's not good. Do you just think he's not good because he hasn't won a NCAA championship? You think he's overrated?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's the thought process.
No, I want to say this.
I could look at all the NBA players that have not won a championship.
What's his record in the NBA?
Look,
she ain't even in the WNBA yet. She's not even in
Look, Iowa's got a team. They're the number one. They're a number 1 seed. So they won the Big Ten tournament. So to think
almost
that
Kentucky
doesn't have players. I mean, I just think that an Angel Reese, she's on a number 3 seeded LSU team, which all they do is win. But this is Caitlin Clark's year to win it. Like I would think that if she can't get it done, if she's so dominant, if Steph Curry, he came in and 3 out of 4 years beat a good Cavs squads or whatever like that. Caitlin Clark, like you've been there for I don't know, for you to be so great and score. Like I think you're just a little bit overrated. That doesn't mean you can't score, but there's a difference between scoring a lot of points and winning and being a winner. And I think that, Jordan could score a lot of points and then he became a winner. I just think there's something about having that.
Well, if you look at the North Carolina roster when he did win the one NCAA championship, it wasn't like they had. Worthy. Yes. Okay. So, team, I'm telling you, like.
Well, I'm not even talking.
I'm not saying if she's overrated or not overrated in general.
Fair enough.
I don't think that this. The question was, if she doesn't win, does it make her overrated? I don't think that. I don't think that it does, because again, like I said, I don't think many players, again, like has an NCAA championship. But we're talking about people buying tickets for $500. We're talking about little girls are going out there and this is their hero and this is like a phenomenon. Who should they look up to? Who do you think it? And then who's the person they should look up to then? Are you just saying this because you've been called a racist too many times for bashing Deshaun Watson? So you want to go on their side?
No. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, the media builds up people and they love to tear them down as well. All I'm saying is that, if we're going to build these people up, she should win. Like, we should celebrate winning. I think this, we talk about the great debate, and one thing about the great debate is winning. Like, it's okay to want to win in this country. Like, it doesn't make you, we don't always have to settle for, she's good.
I agree with you. On that point, yeah, like you're not wrong. But what was the Iowa women's basketball
before?
Before Caitlin Clark. That's the question.
I don't know if they were national powerhouses. But.
How many? When did she start? When was her first year? Let me see.
2019. I don't know. 20 whatever.
Freshman year. Yeah, let's see. I'm just curious. I want to see what her. Because if she's created them into what they are, right?
Yeah. Finish the job, though. Finish the story.
But I'm just telling you, there's only I get it. Like I said, though, there's so many.
Is there though? There's really she gets by LSU tonight. She's in the Final Four, and then she's got to be. Is it really that hard? Like I don't know. There's only maybe on the way to winning a championship, maybe 3 out of the 6 teams that you'd have to play that are I would consider like the blue bloods or the dominant ones. The rest of them, I don't know. They beat Colorado. Ooh, Colorado.
So Caitlin Clark is a
junior, senior. I think this is her 4th year or something.
Senior, yeah. She's a senior, correct. 22 years old. So then go back 4 years. So it's 20. Let's just look at the 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
Iowa women's basketball. See what their record was. Out of curiosity. See, Peyton's gone. I don't know where he went, but maybe he's got the peanut butter.
Mouth?
Oh, the peanut butter's done. All right. Let's see. They were in 2019 20th, and 23-6. So number 21 overall team at the end of the year.
I mean, I don't know. I just
their coach has been the 20th year as their head coach that year, so that was crazy. Where they fucking played Winona State. Where the hell's Winona State at? I don't even.
Who the North hell Alabama? Is Robert Morris?
I heard of that. North Carolina Central. I don't.
North Carolina State.
Shit, they lost
to the men's and women's side, aren't they?
In 2019, they lost the Big Ten women's tournament to Ohio State, 87-66. It was their last game that year, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't say she's overrated yet because again, she's only 22 and not even. In the WNBA.
All I'm saying is overrated for what the pedestal that people have put her on. I guess that's what to me winning matters. You can score all the points you want, but the points have to matter and equate to winning. I don't know. That's just if she wins, pointed to her finger last year. And look, I'm not saying her antics are the way I think people should behave. I'm not trying to say that, but
role model, like you said, the role model aspect.
But she wasn't wrong. Like she wasn't wrong about that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't wrong. But
so what I'm going to do?
Candace Parker. I don't think Candace Parker won a. Won one either.
Well, you look at all those UConn teams. And look, all I'm saying is to be the face of women's college basketball. Shouldn't the face have a ring?
Steph Curry. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I guess, but we'll see. We'll see.
Not over. Hey, maybe they win tonight, and then it's not even.
I really personally don't care. It seems like I feel like I'm very passionate about this, but I really like.
I know.
It's
Candace
not gonna
Parker,
affect my life.
two-time NCAA champion.
There you go.
2007, 2008.
Tennessee.
Tennessee, correct. Did you have any teammates on her team that was any good?
Was Shamika Holtzclaw on that? Who's on that? I don't know. Was
Let's
she
see,
after?
2007,
She had
2008.
a good coach too.
Yeah.
That was at the Q too, ironically enough.
There
You were there. You were there.
Not yet.
Okay.
You're covering it. I thought you were covering that game.
2007, 2008, Casey. I was 11 and 12. Remember,
yeah,
I'm a young-
insider. Junior insider.
Yeah.
The fuck?
You snuck in. It was easy for you to sneak in.
Paul Heyman did it. You could do it. I mean, Paul Heyman. So little Paul Heyman up here.
There was two other teammates from Tennessee that was the all-tournament team: Shannon Bobbitt and Nikki Anosike.
We're not going to act like we really know the 2007, 2008 WNBA.
Was she related to Lorena Bobbitt?
Oh no, Brittany Griner. I got the Brittany Griner jersey on underneath their page.
Well, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm
actually shipping Brittany Griner a We Like Sportz show shirt soon. She ended up messaging me on the main account. So
it'll be like that for the prison shot, like the photos with the some of the mugshot pictures people have, like a Pat McAfee that you can make.
Look at that vein in my head.
I don't know what to say here because I want to go on to the third one, but I don't want to pass judgment because you guys, you know what?
It's just tough. We don't know yet. It's too big to determine, right? We can't see. You guys wait till the tournament.
You say it doesn't matter, but it matters to you. And I say, look, I think stylistically, Peyton, you had it up until you just kept mentioning Pete Rose, and I just don't know where you're going with that.
Pete Rose, it was going off the last.
He's not. Caitlin Clark isn't gambling. Not everybody's a gambler. Okay.
Well, Shohei Ohtani.
Hey, we're a sponsored athlete by like two gambling.
Yeah, that's right. My bookie.
All these great players are now using gambling websites.
My bookie. My book. Now they're all using my bookie.
I know everybody. All right. Well, you know what I'm going to do. I want to go to the third question because this one matters.
Hold on. It's tied 1-1, correct? Everybody watching Facebook, X, YouTube, tweet out who you think wins between Casey and I because it is 1-1.
Yes. And this third question is inspired by the week of WrestleMania 40. So what I want you guys to do is a little bit different here. You're going to give an impassioned minute and a half diatribe of your favorite WrestleMania moment. You can either talk about your personal favorite or you can talk about what was the most influential, something that you just, you know what I'm saying? So you got a minute and a half to give your favorite or most influential WrestleMania moment of all time. Who's going to go first? Who wants to go first? If not, I'll flip.
I've won first both times, so I feel like.
Well, okay, then we don't. In all fairness,
I have a feeling I know what Casey's WrestleMania moment is if I remember way back in the day.
Well, then steal it from him. Steal it from him, and then it makes him.
I can't because I can't argue him the same way he did. But
fuck. Well, give me it so I can argue it.
No, you got to come up with it, and then afterwards I'll let you know.
All right. So we got a minute and a half. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
All right. So my favorite WrestleMania moment. I'm gonna end up sending you back to. Let's go WrestleMania 30 with Daniel Bryan beating Triple H earlier on in the night and then going on to face Batista and Randy Orton for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And that was when he was just known as a B-plus player over and over again to the Authority. And he showed that the change in WWE, it didn't really start then, but it showed hints of what we're getting now to the future. That guys like Johnny Gargano, guys like Tommaso Ciampa, guys like Tyler Bate, guys that aren't big and bulky and big Hulk Hogan looking guys, the normal everyday guys like Kofi Kingston ended up having it in the future because without Daniel Bryan, there would be no Kofi Kingston winning the WWE Championship because that's finally when fans had their voices heard because they just chanted one word over and over and over again. And it hijacked the shows in order for him to end up becoming champion. And that was just one simple word of yes, yes, yes. And Daniel Bryan, the next night, to solidify my point, the night after WrestleMania on Raw, everybody in that building was chanting yes, and he was emotional because reality finally set in and that he overcame the hump that on TV he beat the Authority, but in real life, in realistic meaning, he ended up showing up one guy. I'm not going to mention his name anymore because he doesn't deserve to be mentioned, but he was the former chairman of the WWE. He was the one that held back so many people in World Wrestling Entertainment because he ended up having one distinct way that if he would still be there, almost the 7'4" giant would be the world champion if it was up to him. It would be up to the big bulky guys that you didn't end up seeing guys like Seth Rollins becoming champion. You didn't end up seeing guys like Cody Rhodes have any shot whatsoever in becoming champion. And Daniel Bryan was the one that paved the way for that. And that's my WrestleMania moment because he beat not just two, but three guys, 2 in one match and one in Triple H. And everybody in that arena in New Orleans on his side, they did not get tired of him. And usually you end up The Rock and Roman Reigns, you have him both on 2 nights this upcoming weekend. That's something that back then wasn't allowed. They did not make that happen because it was one night. But fans could get tired of seeing The Rock twice in one night. They could get tired of seeing Roman Reigns twice in one night. They could get tired of Seth Rollins twice in one night. They could get tired of Cody Rhodes twice in one night. But Daniel Bryan engaged fans so much and captured the hearts of the everyday working man's man that he showed that you could overcome anything at the end of the day.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, that was a great answer. Great answer. And Casey, you have your turn, 1.5 minutes. What is your favorite WrestleMania moment of all time, or most influential?
It's not going to be the one that Peyton's thinking I'm going to say because I don't know what that is. I wish you told me, but this is going to be one. I don't know if Ed's seen this WrestleMania. WrestleMania 22 between Edge and Mick Foley. I don't know if you remember any of this, Peyton, but this was the match when Mick Foley kind of came back and Edge was having sex with Lita and was very edgy, rated R superstar, big heel, right? And this was like the first match that I can recall in my life, I would say, with like that extreme kind of wrestling, right? With the table on fire, spearing them through the ropes, going through the table, the barbed wire, the thumbtacks, the
ECW
Mick Foley
style.
Correct. Yeah, in WWE, exactly. Right. And it's with Mick Foley being what I think 40 something in that, and he looks like he's fucking 60 because he's so beat up, right?
Has a half a year.
Yeah, as I'm saying. But to me, it was just this, like I enjoyed with the AIW, right? The wrestling of like kind of like Nick Gage, right? And then having like the shit in their head, stuff like that, like crazy wrestling like that. So with the Edge and Mick Foley match with Lita, and Lita even got into it. I think she might have got fucked up in it because Mick Foley.
I think she got speared through a table, to be honest.
Yeah, because I think Mick Foley moved out of the way and Edge probably drilled her. So I'm just saying, Ed, if you got some free time tonight, you probably, I don't know if you've seen this match, so you're not going to go with me. But if you take a look at the hardcore match between Edge and Mick Foley, I'm telling you that one is. Now, I'm going to argue now back to Peyton on his. I disagree that one is. I hate that match. I hated that situation. And the reason why is I didn't like Daniel Bryan. I know you did. I did not at that point. And that was when I watched wrestling a lot. That was when we were into it, right? During that WrestleMania. Yep. So to me, I just felt like it was predictable. I knew what was going to happen. My one fear is this year is the same thing's going to happen, right? So to me, I'm predicting Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes probably lose, and then Cody Rhodes somehow comes over all the odds, and I did, woohoo, yay, look at me. I like Cody Rhodes, so I didn't this doesn't happen, but I just think that match to me was too predictable that he was going to beat them in that triple threat, and they're going to face, I knew it was going to happen, right? I enjoy not knowing what's going to happen, right? So that's why I didn't want to tell Ed who won that match, because I didn't want to spoil the one that I told him to watch just in case he wants to watch it. He's not going to know who's going to win, right? And to me, it's like, I don't know if you enjoy it, Peyton, because you watch wrestling a lot, but like those close finishes, right, where you think they got him and it's and they jump out of it, right?
Like
so with
Roman Reigns versus Cody last year, that it made you think over and over again it was going to end.
Exactly. Like you're watching it, like you see it's getting close to the end of the show. You know it's ending soon, and it's like, well, shit, this could be it. This could be it. Like the false finishes. I know some people don't like it. I do, because then it's like, well, shit, that could happen. It could happen, right? But for that match, I knew no matter what, to me, there was no way that Cody or that Daniel Bryan wasn't going to win that. And I just wasn't a huge fan of the Yes movement. That's just how I was. I think Sami Zayn was trying to get close to that apex per se. But yes, I was on the no side. I didn't hate Daniel Bryan, right? But I didn't buy into the hype, because look at him outside of WWE. He hasn't done much. Like before he was big. We know before he came to WWE, he was a big signing. But I just feel like at AEW he hasn't done much. And I think after that run there, I just wasn't a Daniel Bryan fan. Some people love him, some people I just wasn't a huge fan of Daniel Bryan. So I liked Batista, but
for closing time, I want to end up mentioning. So remember that Cody Rhodes WrestleMania weekend stuff, because I want to dive back into that, because I think I sent you it earlier today too, and I want to get your thoughts on it. I didn't send it to Ed because I'm gonna end up throwing a curveball at Ed to get his thoughts. But anyways,
my other one would have been Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. That WrestleMania, that match I liked a lot.
The one I was thinking for you was when Zack Ryder won the Intercontinental Championship. For like
no, because I don't
match.
I'm not a huge fan of him anymore since he's become the indie god, truthfully. But the thing that gets me, Ed, what would yours be? Do you have a favorite?
I wanted to enter the fray. I wanted to make this a triple threat match when it comes to this question right here, because look, I'm going to go back in the way back time machine. We're going back to March 27th, 1988. You have a vacated WWF belt, a 14-man single elimination tournament, WrestleMania 4. The Macho Man, ooh yeah, takes out 4 opponents in the championship match against the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Miss Elizabeth, she's all Miss Elizabeth. She's freaking out. She's freaking out because Ted DiBiase's got Virgil next to him. He's winning the match. So she goes running in the back. She brings out the Hulkster. The Hulkster comes, blindsides, hits DiBiase. Macho Man, 1, 2, 3. We have a new champion. Da na 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 na. The best song in wrestling, one of the best songs ever, the Macho Man's theme song. We have a champion, and that was WrestleMania 4, the only WrestleMania in which there was a tournament to decide who the champion was going to be, because of the vacated championship between Hulk and Andre the Giant at SummerSlam, I believe, the year before. So it was awesome. So that was my moment. And WrestleMania, I don't care. I want to say this to anybody out there when it comes to sports entertainment. There's one of the greatest weekends in all of sports is WrestleMania, and being a young kid and watching it, and even being a young kid now, a 44-year-old young kid, I get excited for it. I'm excited for it this weekend and to see what happens. And you know what? I don't think there's a wrong answer here. People can vote.
WrestleMania 17 with the triple threat tag team TLC match was good too. Yeah. With Edge, Christian, Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys, that was a good one.
Look, there's something about WrestleMania where each one of us can have that one moment that we think, supersedes somebody else's moment. And that's okay, because, it means something special to us in different ways, and that's okay. But when it comes to voting, they should vote for me.
Peyton, do you remember? I guess, but do you remember when Jeff Hardy jumped off the ladder in the Money in the Bank, I believe? And went through the ladder, and he got to get stretchered out. He could have won the match, and Matt Hardy was down in the bottom telling him to jump, and he jumped. I don't remember if that was at WrestleMania, if there was a Money in the Bank. But do you know what I'm talking about?
It might have been Money in the Bank, because I don't remember it being a WrestleMania.
Because Money in the Bank used to be on WrestleMania.
Yeah,
remember? Before that was actually a pay-per-view.
2016 or so, it used to be that way.
Well, 2008 was it was the first. 2006 was the first. CM Punk
Van Dam won.
Well, CM Punk won too. I know that.
Yep.
So,
twice.
But yeah, so I could not find it. Which one was that? But that was another good match in general with the Money in the Bank. I always liked back in the day. Now I don't like it as much. It's not as crazy as it used to be when we were kids growing up. So I always love Money. And Royal Rumble, same with Royal Rumble. That's always.
Well, I want to get
certain things you always tune in on.
Also, before, like I said, everybody vote. Like the Peyton, let them know how they can settle this.
VOGT.
You got to end up commenting below who you think ends up winning the great debate. It was tied.
Peyton's got the most burners, so
Yeah.
What's that?
That's okay. But I
the
wanted
most burners.
I wanted your
Burner
thoughts.
accounts.
I wanted your thoughts about WrestleMania 40. Because look, I love talking about WrestleMania. I really do. And great debate. It was a great debate. But what do you guys see? Give me some scenarios where, because I could see this. Maybe The Rock, the final boss. Maybe everything goes good on the first night. But then, do you think maybe he's the one that turns? Who do you think's going to turn? Does Seth Rollins?
Dude, there's so many.
I think there's a scenario where somebody turns, and that's
we got a comment.
All right. Well,
Stephen R. Smith.
Yeah, you said it.
Yeah.
No,
You got access to the Stephen R. Smith account.
Everyone wins. It's all in Mania. I think he confused WWE and AEW, that's usually how Stephen R. works, if you've ended up paying attention to the show before. But he's saying everybody's a winner, and I think he meant WrestleMania, not all in Mania. But I guess that's fair until we get another comment.
Yeah. But I think, like as you said, I don't know who. Like I said earlier, the unpredictability of it's what I enjoy.
Yep.
Not knowing what's going to happen is what I enjoy. So I do see an outcome where Cody Rhodes wins the first night, and then wins the second night. I see he wins the first night, loses the second night. I could see where every single outcome you could think of, I could see the storyline and what a possibility of it could be. You could have Stone Cold someone come back. You could have The Rock turn. You could have Seth Rollins turn. What do you do? Like who? It's so hard for me to predict. John Cena, you never know. Someone can. You never.
I heard
know
Austin might be. They wanted
That's
to get
what I'm
Austin
saying.
to be there.
Hold on, let me pull this up.
Even Triple
Twitter.
H, because he was shit talking Triple H. So who do you? The one negative I'm going to tell you for me, I think is the fact that I feel like after WrestleMania, The Rock's going to go back to doing his thing, and I can't see him being in this capacity here again in wrestling. So like I'm for example, I tune in if I can to watch wrestling now every Monday, Friday, because I want to see the promos from The Rock, right? And then the promos back to him. And if I don't see it, what do I do when I get home? I'll watch the YouTube video. I want it because Rock makes me tune in. Him on the microphone, like I said earlier, like a couple shows ago, I don't think he's as strong as he used to be on the mic. It's not as smooth as it used to be.
But it's still better than a lot of.
But it's still The Rock, and then the dropping the F-bomb and just the things he says. The one thing I didn't like is how he calls Seth Rollins a walking clown emoji. That one I think is just.
I use that one. I kind of like that. I thought that was funny.
That was to me. It's to me, the 20-year-old younger than you is corny to me. For you,
I love it. I think it's.
But I think Casey's wrong with The Rock because he's on the board now. So I think he's going to come and go as he pleases.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be as involved in a storyline as he is right now. I'm curious to see how he wrestles because we have not seen him wrestle in a long
10
time.
years since facing Cena, I think. But I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up having. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we've talked about it. WrestleMania is in Cleveland. I wouldn't be surprised if
SummerSlam
appearance in SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And
SummerSlam's in Cleveland.
What did I say? WrestleMania?
WrestleMania. I was like,
you knew what I meant.
Build that dome. It's coming. Build that dome. It's coming.
But
Peyton wants some domes, so yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, for the Brown Stadium, of course.
Ed wants the dome.
This was what John Cena tweeted.
Ooh. There it is.
It says coolest Rock in the shop.
Coolest Ed in the shop.
Is that a hint that he's coming to WrestleMania because of their past history with The Rock?
I'm just saying, man, you just never know. Like that's what's good. That's why I'm tuned in as well. You never know. I can't tell what's going to happen.
And so that's going to be great too.
That's also the benefit of not watching every single show, every single match, because then when I watch the PLEs or pay-per-views, what I have to call them, I don't know what's going to happen or who's going to win because I didn't follow the whole storyline for a lot of it. For this one, I followed the whole storyline. I don't know what's going to happen. The LA Knight AJ Styles match, I think, will be good too. Yeah. Styles like Jack. Did you see? Like speaking of Macho
my
Man,
wife said that. She's like, "Wow!" After he came, it's like he is like, "Dang."
Yeah, he looked like the Macho Man in that one.
Yes.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
But I just think that I've said it before in here to any people, but it's not a wrestling fan. I think that you have to understand wrestling's not just wrestling. It's the stories that are being told. You know what I mean? Like what reels me in, like I said, it's those good storylines. Like following along and understand what's happening and having meaning behind it. Because the wrestling is good. Yes, like I think Peyton can agree. Cedric Alexander, Johnny Gargano, what's his name? Gringo Loco, people like that, right? That kind of wrestling stuff. Peyton knows who these people are.
I know Johnny Gargano. He's from Cleveland.
Yeah, the other ones you wouldn't know. But those kind of matches, like those 6-packs where they're just flying around and lucha wrestling, I prefer that kind of wrestling or hardcore. But this watching on TV, I prefer the storylines like Roman Reigns, The Rock, Rhodes, stuff like that because of the stories they tell, the promos they cut. But live wrestling, I prefer the, flippy shit, per se, you'd say.
I agree.
Ricochet kind of
like
wrestling.
Movie. And that's what I like too. You and I became similar that
exactly.
I like seeing the movie being presented from beginning to end because that's why The Rock and Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes has sucked me in is because everything has been intriguing. The promo battles have been great. It's been everything that has been missing forever. And there's small minuscule details that you're seeing if you're paying attention to wrestling that you're seeing it being hinted at too. Like Seth Rollins never ended up turning on Roman Reigns. He turned on Dean Ambrose. So what if he turns on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania and that's why they lose? And there's so many different details if you end up looking back at history. But going back to what I was mentioning earlier on, I sent it to Casey, Ed. Cody Rhodes, somebody ended up saying plot twist for the weekend. Cody Rhodes ends up losing on Sunday. Judgment Day comes out, beats down Roman Reigns. And this is going back to the time when he was in AEW, when he was on the Indies, when he wasn't blonde-haired Cody Rhodes. He was black-haired American Nightmare, the darker side of Cody Rhodes. Judgment Day ends up beating down Roman Reigns. Damian Priest gives the briefcase to Cody Rhodes and goes, finish your story. And then Cody Rhodes is the new leader of the Judgment Day. Whoa. And every good hero becomes a villain. And that's
John Cena.
The whole entire situation of what's coming up for the next year now. And I've also NWO too, with John Cena possibly being involved and The Rock. There's any aspect now because the man that shall not be named that I mentioned before isn't running it anymore, and there's not an angry old man, so anything can happen at this WrestleMania.
You mean the guy with your last name?
Yeah, yep, both.
So I have a question for you then, and a few questions. But who do you think's the face then? If that occurred, right, and then you had the Bloodline versus Judgment Day with Rhodes.
Oh, that'd be a double turn. Roman Reigns would end up being the face again because everybody wants him to be the good guy.
Yeah, but you think because you think the crowd would be to support? I don't know.
After the A&E documentary that they had yesterday,
I watched that. That was really good.
And I didn't watch it, but I've seen clips on Twitter. They mentioned the fact that Roman Reigns has beat cancer twice, leukemia.
Yeah.
But Reigns is gonna. I don't think he's gonna be. He's gonna be a part-time. You know what he's now. You never see
exactly. You could be a part-time. He deserves it.
But as a face, it's hard. I don't know. I do think
the NWO people cheer for him.
Well, yeah, that's because of the. I mean, they're
he's at the head of the table,
but they booed him forever. Cena sucks. It was the forced face, right? That's what I'm afraid. Reigns, you're gonna have the kids and Ed cheering for Roman Reigns, and then you're gonna have the other people saying Reigns sucks, Roman sucks, right? And then the other thing on that, the NWO twist, I think that would be. I do think that would be great if they had, Cena just have an NWO run, with whoever it could be with him. I think that would be just interesting because then you're shifting kind of from, we've always had factions, right? Evolution, things like that. Even with Cody Rhodes was in the Legacy, right?
Yep.
So you always have those kind of factions
now with Ray and everybody else.
Yeah, but you see kind of a more of a growth in it, but it's again you have to kind of build a story because now what throws me off is what the hell is Dom doing with the LWO? I'm confused. Why did he just randomly go after Rey Mysterio again and just forgot about the Judgment Day? That one tricks me off there. But I just think that I think wrestling's in a good place. I truthfully think there's a lot of eyes on it. And if they have a strong showing at WrestleMania, I think that's even setting up even better. Like you said, now that Peyton's namesake's out, I think that there is more potential for the unknown and going to Netflix too. Yeah. In next year, you never know what's going to happen. So
and now there should be swearing involved again. You're not getting so much of the PG stuff, which kids obviously it was a good enough product now, but I think when WWE first became PG, it's that way. But these kids are now growing up, and they could, like Ed's son, for example, he's an early teenager now.
Yeah.
When he first started watching, if he did, he could end up seeing everything that back when Edge and Lita had their celebrations and stuff wasn't appropriate.
When Snitsky punted the baby into the crowd.
Yeah. But now these kids are becoming young adults, and they could at least develop and grow into watching it on Netflix. And you end up having also Netflix parental guidance lines too. So if you don't want to end up having them watch wrestling, you don't have to watch The Rock swearing on Twitter or whatever. You have to end up searching for it as strictly as possible if you wanted to. And that's why Netflix, I mean, you kind of end up having it all censored during Raw, SmackDown, whatever, with these holy shit chants even. And you hear it every day with your parents more than likely. And these kids end up, they know what's being said. You could end up piecing the puzzle pieces together. It's kind of grown stale with what's on TV now. And that's why the Netflix deal has become a great deal for them.
Well, I want to say thanks for this wrestling. I always want to talk wrestling. Well, before we go to closing,
I have one more thing though.
Go ahead.
Before we do this. Ed, have you ever seen the Scott Steiner promo, the math promo?
No, I probably
Peyton,
have.
can you play it real quick? It's like a minute. Can you pull it up?
Yeah, because I like this one.
Yes, I would. This is to close out this wrestling. You have to see this.
Okay.
And keep in mind, you're gonna see. Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, right?
I know who Scott Steiner is.
So if you look in this video, you'll have the Maple Leaf Muscle, Petey Williams, as well as this guy's nickname next to him in this video. Okay. So you're gonna. I'm telling you,
I will thoroughly enjoy this.
You will.
Okay. It doesn't take much. I'm a simple
and this is when he was in TNA, right?
Okay,
This is when he was in TNA, but you'll know everybody in it except for the woman behind him. But what's that woman's name? Peyton? Was it
Shaka Khan or Sasha?
Yeah,
Khan?
or something. Yeah, Sasha Khan.
Looks like
all right. Yeah. So the Maple Leaf Muscle is the one on the right. That's his nickname, and he's like a mini version of Scott Steiner.
Petey Williams.
Yeah, Petey Williams.
Oh man, I forgot to unmute it again. Let's try again.
Between you, Kurt Angle, and Samoa Joe. Now, before you get there, you have an important step tonight as you and X Division champion Petey Williams take on the unlikely duo of Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe.
You know, they say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Samoa Joe, and you can see that statement is not true. See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal. So you got a 25% at best at beating me. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix, your chances of winning drastically go down. See, the three-way at sacrifice, you got a 33 1/3 chance of winning. But I got a 66 2/3 chance of winning because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me, and he's not even going to try. So, Samoa Joe, you take your 33 1/3 chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 1/3 chance of winning at sacrifice. But then you take my 75% chance of winning. If we used to go one-on-one and then add 66 2/3%, I got 141 2/3 chance of winning at sacrifice. See, Joe, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at sacrifice. See, but I'm going to break it down for all you ladies. Would you rather be with me, or would you rather be with Joe?
Well, I think Joe's kind of nice. I mean,
See, you're one of those girls that like romance. I'm going to talk to all my freaks out there. Would you rather come home to me, a genetic freak, to be satisfied every night, or go home to that fat-ass Samoa Joe? See, tonight, we're going to win, and I'm going to be the world champion at sacrifice. Come on, Pete. Let's go.
Scotty, just like you always say, Big Papa Pump has got your hookup. Well, Maple Leaf Muscle is who you need to look up. Holler if you hear that.
So when I was talking about Pete Rose earlier, that was what actually happened, was that with Pete Rose, I ended up just talking too much, and I kind of got lost in my Caitlin Clark math when it comes to scoring. And this is how you put a bow on a segment, is because with Pete Rose, Big Papa Pump, Petey Williams, Maple Leaf Muscle. All that, I mean, there's a 33 2/3% chance that this show is going to probably end up leaving in about like 5 to 7 minutes. But if you add Ed and Casey to the mix, there's a 77 2/3% chances at us winning and going on to the We Like Sports show. And there's an 100% chances of percents that you follow us on Twitter at We Like Sports PC. Make sure to give us a follow and check out the website, WeLikeSportsPC.com. Senor Ed?
And if you're curious, that's what you look like when you do the Breakhead News, when you fuck it up. That's what it looks like.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
that was good, though. Peyton, that was good.
It was actually good. Very, very good. We'll have to clip that one. I wanted to do one before we get into closing time. I thought about this. I'm like, I want to play this new segment, and it's called Hot Potato.
Holler if you hear me.
Hot Potato. And what I want to do is I'm going to say to you, you each get one. I'm going to throw out one hot potato, and you're going to just give like a minute rebuttal here. So, Casey, I'm going to say to you, Casey, Darius Garland is trash. This Cavs team is trash. JB Bickerstaff is trash. And honestly, they just need to rebuild this team and really just look at Donovan Mitchell and say, please, Donovan, sign this because everybody else is expendable. And this team really needs to look needs to look in the mirror and need to fix itself before next year. And Dan Gilbert and Kobe Altman have some work to do. This team is trash, Casey. That's your hot potato. Throw something back at me.
It's hard to do that because I kind of agree. All right. I mean, okay.
That's not how that's supposed to work.
All right, perfect. All right, here you go. So, if you look at the Cavs have Donovan Mitchell, right? You said it. He's not looked the same. I understand that. But maybe that knee injury is still lingering there, right? Maybe that mask is kind of throwing him off. Maybe he's not used to it, right? So I do think there's still a chance the Cavs do something. The Knicks, aren't really – they're hanging with us right now. I think we could beat the Sixers if we're healthy. So I think that you've seen Donovan Mitchell. If you take a peek back at his All-Star year, he was strong as hell. Evan Mobley, corner three to win the game. No hesitation. Knock that down against Mo Bamba, Peyton's favorite player. Then you've got Jared Allen. I love Jared Allen. Personally, Jared Allen's my favorite Cav, I would say, with Donovan Mitchell. I'm real up there because I think he's wears a hoodie and sweatpants to go to the game, doesn't care about that kind of shit, has that right mentality, puts up great numbers. But he gets shit on somehow, but he puts up great numbers. He's what kept us afloat. In my opinion, when everyone was hurt, he was still here and he kept us afloat. So I think once some more chemistry the team gets back together, everyone's healthy, Merrill will be better. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Niang's looking good. He's hitting some shots. He has like the highest 3-point percentage in the last however many days, which is bizarre to me. But if everyone's on point, and Mitchell gets that explosiveness back. That's what I think right now makes us look so rough. Is Mitchell's not explosive yet? Garland's gonna get used to playing again with Mitchell because it hasn't been consistent. So hopefully they all just play for the rest of the season. Got hope then. We'll see what happens. Fuck the Knicks.
Peyton, your hot potato is
just be healthy. Honestly, if we're going the Cavs route, be healthy, and hopefully you end up piecing things together. I mean, right now the biggest downfall is the fact that they aren't healthy. They lost bad to the Nuggets, and right now JB Bickerstaff, I don't think if they make a good run, it's time to let him go. Find a new coach. It's time. His time. He has not figured out how to put a rotation together for the last couple seasons or so, and by now you should end up figuring it out. I mean, you could use the excuse of injuries, but it's time you end up figuring it out by now, because I feel like somebody like who they have, Beeline for a minute. Beeline could have figured it out because of his college experience. David Blatt figured it out over time, and it's just because they didn't have the talent around him. And I mean,
Tyloo.
If we go on the aspect of baseball, Stephen Vogt's 3-1 right now with the Guardians, and he had no experience. It shows inexperience isn't really an excuse. Depending on the sport, I don't think it makes a difference. If you're inexperienced, learn on the fly.
Thank you. Perfect. That's like I said, that's the first iteration of hot potato. I just wanted to throw that out there for a preview of what's to come later on in different episodes. So I like to do that to, like I said, give a little preview and see what works or not.
And can we preface this with when Ed does these things and these great debates and any of this stuff, we have zero idea of what this topic's going to be before he says it. So just understand.
It's raw. This shit is raw.
Play this video that I'm saying right now before every single one of these clips that we post on TikTok and YouTube and X when we get shit on for this.
And people get mad anyways.
We are also forced into a perspective that we may not agree with. All right, so we are putting ourselves in a different perspective.
Every show.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, we are not writing this down and not researching before. We don't have any preparation of this. This is like off the fly, right? Keeping it real.
Off the cuff.
Right? Yeah.
Real
keeping
for
it real.
Right?
Keeping it real. Real for real. Shout out Keith.
We finally made it to our segment. Closing time.
Time to take your pants off and what?
What?
Right.
Hey, I kind of like that. What's going on? But yeah, we've made it. We've made it. We've had a jam-packed show, and it's been fun. I love anytime we can talk WrestleMania, we can talk Guardians, and we got to talk Guardians for 3 hours. I had to stop us there because that's fun when you're 3-1 and going on to Seattle tonight. Go Guards! But yeah, so Casey, we'll start with you first. What are your thoughts moving into the sports week, and any shout outs and anything you want to say? Anybody you want to call out? Anybody that you have a vendetta against?
A lot of people, but this is like personal life stuff. But my dad's coming down for the first time, so Peyton will not see him at bowling because he's going to be in Orlando. Ed in Orlando is going to be happening.
Have you ever showed him this before? Does he know how to do the Ed?
Oh yes. See, he knows who Ed in Columbus is. Don't you worry. Don't you?
Shout out Ed.
He knows Ed in Columbus. Yes, he knows who Ed in Columbus. I'll show him on Thursday. Don't you worry. I'll show him this on Thursday. So.
Okay.
But yes, that's just going on real life. So I'm only gonna work one day this week, so that's lovely. So I'll be in a good mood because I'm only working one day. That's great. Wednesday only. But for the sports week, I would say, I guess the Guardians have the Mariners, and then after them, who are we looking at? I can't remember, but I think it's
Twins.
Yeah, Twins. Yes. So I think that we'll see how we actually are going into this. I'm excited for the Guardians, as you can see. Truthfully, with the Cavs,
because I ended up missing out when you changed that back.
With what?
Wahoo earlier on from the Great Debate. I didn't even see you change it back.
So I put it on because it was the Ricky Bonds.
I didn't even see you change it back.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
He's like Clark Kent. He's quick.
Yeah, Clark Kent, exactly. I should have had the WrestleMania shirt underneath. You should have told me I tore it off. But I would say, like I said, the Cavs do worry me. I'm kind of worried on that one. I haven't got to touch on this for the Browns going around the world here. Browns. Yeah. I think that with the signing of Judy, like the extension we have, people are shitting all over it. I think it's fine. I like it. He's fucking 24, and I mean, I get that he hasn't put 1,000 yards up, but if you look at the dudes that are getting paid the same amount around him, I think he has the potential to, do something, be better than what it is. I don't think in 2 years when you say, man, I regret trading fucking 5th and a 6th for him and giving him this contract because he'll be 26 at that point. I just think that I like that signing, the re-signing of the extension, whatever you want to call it. I like that. For the Browns, what worries me is linebacker still, and just that backup running back. Hines is interesting, but I don't think he's going to be a solid. Jerome Ford, Ed's fucking buddy. Jerome Ford's going to be the guy. So I think that out of right now, my optimism is for the Guardians. I think we're looking good. I'm excited to see how we do. I'm also excited to see if David Fry can keep doing what he's doing. Freeman is looking good. And like I said, Jose Ramirez, I think might, he almost hit up. You saw, I'm not sure if you watched the game 2 days ago, whatever, that bomb that was robbed too.
That one,
2 home runs already.
Too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he's got some power. He's hitting the ball, which is, I'm liking that. And Austin Hedges, I'm glad you're back. The chemistry that he brings, I think that's a big piece of the Guardians team. And what also stands out to me, I will say this to you. If you ever watched clips from last year when the Guardians bench is, hyped up, Tyler Freeman was very energetic with the team, with Quan. Him and Quan look like they're tight from just games I watched last year and this year. So I think having Freeman playing consistently helps the chemistry. What worries me is Arias whenever I watch games. I feel like he's really not even just on the field, right? But just he doesn't feel like he fits with the team. Like, you know what I mean? Like Miles Straw, I feel like fit in. Laureano doesn't.
He's fitting out. He's fitting out.
Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain players. Like I told you, with that, every team needs to have an identity. Any sport, to me, you have to have an identity to fall back on when you're struggling, right? So Peyton brought it up a couple months ago with the Cavs. They had that kind of core, whatever the hell it's called, the friendship thing.
Yeah,
they had that core
squad or whatever.
Yeah, with Jared Allen.
Friendship.
Yeah, they were so strong because they had that chemistry, right? And I think with having Hedges back and even Carrasco back and kind of guys like that, I think it'll help with the chemistry that we kind of need with the team, right? So it's just, and that's my closing time with just the round Cleveland sports since I haven't been on
Perfect.
it.
That's why we have it. Thanks, Casey, for that. That's good stuff. Peyton, what you got?
For me, for the closing time, I'm going to have to end up going with the fact that if we're going to go on a national basis, but it's also what happened locally. Have you guys noticed that ever since the Shohei Ohtani interpreter situation, that people that didn't usually speak English are now giving it a shot more often and having that freedom? Andres Jimenez did it with his interpreter on, I think, Friday night.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
The interpreter only ended up answering one question. Andres did everything else on his own. Ellie De La Cruz from the Reds, same thing. He said, if I'm going to end up knowing my fan base, I'm going to have to speak to end up knowing that they understand me, and I worked really hard at this. And kudos to those guys, because, I mean, honestly, that's what you end up wanting from your role models, because guys like Mike Trout were role models because they ended up knowing the language so well. Same thing with Lindor. Lindor didn't know much when he was here. Jose, the same thing. And they ended up learning it over time. And if you look at Brian Rocchio, he did the same thing. They posted it. Andre Knott posted a little backstory that they shot the interview live, and if it wasn't good enough or he felt nervous, they weren't going to air it. And that's something that this is something, unfortunately, that happened to Shohei Ohtani that should have maybe happened a long time ago. And that's nothing against him. I know English is honestly one of the most complicated languages out there.
I know plenty of Americans that struggle with it.
Yeah, I mean, look at me. I have word vomit, and I start talking about Caitlin Clark and Pete Rose, gosh forbid, you know?
Right, I mean,
that's just your brain. I don't know.
My brain literally goes wired this way.
That's why that forehead is so big, because the brain's just bouncing around so much that it pushes the hair up higher.
And like this vein ends up just popping out always because it's just a question mark at times whenever I get confused. If you end up looking at my forehead long enough,
there you go.
And then that question mark turns into a bigger and bigger one. So that's why it goes forward or backward more. But honestly, though, I think that's something that's good for MLB for them to do it. And I hope it continues. And it's unfortunate that you had to have an incident like this happen, Shohei Ohtani, but maybe this is the way to end up going for the future. And maybe these younger kids that are wanting to watch baseball have a reason to watch their role models, their idols, because they're giving it a shot. And they're showing that these kids, not only are they performing on the field, but they're studying. They're studying the language, they're speaking, they're showing their skills more often. And that's from a learning standpoint that you don't only have to learn baseball. You could learn something else in addition to just being a baseball player. It's not so much the Cardale Jones, I didn't come to play school bullshit that he said before.
Hey, he got us a national title. I got nothing bad to say.
I liked him back in the day.
12 gauge.
12 gauge, that's what it was. I do agree with Peyton, though, on that. I do think that.
I know. Great points.
And the two things that I thought of that was, I respect those guys that want to do that, and it's hard to be the face of the league if you can't speak English.
Yeah.
Right? So Jose Ramirez, I feel like, is not as nationally publicized because he doesn't speak English.
That hurts him in his MVP voting?
Yes. Okay. I do. I think if he had the same stats as Ellie De La Cruz, De La Cruz would have more because, it's just he's more shown now, especially now because he can speak English better. But I think that is a difference maker.
I agree with that. Peyton, anything more before I get my closing?
No, I'd go for it. I think I'm good. I put a little bow on it, and my
I'm just gonna say Bobby Witt, dude, is fucking. He get a home run right now. That fucking guy's killing. He's hit over 500 so far. Like Bobby Witt, that contract the Royals signed. Shout out to the White Sox as well for sucking so much so far. 0-4. Good job, White Sox.
The Tigers end up playing the Mets right now. It's 0-0, middle of the third inning, but the Tigers are looking to go 4-0 for the first time, and I forgot what the stat was, but it's been a while.
Miggy and JD Martinez and Magley Ordonez and fucking guys.
Okay.
Scherzer probably.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm going to say. Here's my closing time.
And in Columbus.
Here we go.
This isn't the dog chug.
It's not the dog chug, but check out the dog chug this Wednesday at 10 p.m. when Dog Chug Likes Sports. Our special guest will be Peyton Vince. And, of course, I will be there. So, yes, I want to say shout out to Andy, Roger, and Ross. We are invading. We Like Sports is invading the Dog Chug this Wednesday at 10. We're going to bring it. Casey, we're going to get you on sometime as well. But, it's going to be.
That's the only day I work this week, like I said, man. It's Wednesday too, so
that's okay. Tough, that's okay. But I just want to put.
Casey already dog chugs on the show usually with the Miller Lite, so
yeah. Dog chug. I'm putting you on notice. I'm coming, and I'm coming with backup this time. So be nice to me, Andy. So I want to give a shout out to that. But I also want to say shout out to the We Like Sports Nation and everybody that tuned in today. Had a great show. Like I always say, we like sports, but we like you. And we hope that all your home teams win, whoever they are, because that's what it's about.
We'd like you even more if you subscribe to YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at We Like Sports PC. Like our Facebook page, We Like Sports Show. Follow our TikTok, We Like Sports Show. Everything on socials, and order a t-shirt on Teespring. Check us out. We Like Sports Show merch. It's been I showed the link earlier on, so just check out the link. And if not, send us a message at We Like Sports PC, at Peyton Vince, at Casey Katonsky, I believe is your Twitter, at @_in_Columbus, at CJ Hawkins, that's SEEJAY Hawk. And then Keith at K_Allen569. Give us all a follow and check us out. Ed, when are we back next week?
It's looking like Tuesday.
So we're not back for the eclipse.
No, but that's probably for safety issues and everything like that. So be safe out there. Don't stop on the highway. It's against the law if you stop on the highways. Highway patrol is already getting mad at people about camping out. So don't do that.
Yeah, dummies.
Yeah, dummies. Thank you. But thanks for tuning in. And like I said, we'll see you next Tuesday on the We Like Sports Show, where
see you next
we
Tuesday.
Like you. Thank you. Drop an Ed sign there, Casey.